What's up, my alphas? Welcome to Leading the Pack. I'm your host, Dom Clegg, a mental performance coach and former college football coach dedicated to helping you turn your mindset into your ultimate weapon and help you become the alpha of your life. Now it's time to level up and lead this pack. Now let's attack this work together. I'm so fired up to welcome Coach Sean Lewis onto Leading the Pack. This one is absolutely personal. I had the honor of serving under Coach Lewis at Kent State as one of his GAs, and now I get to introduce him not to just recruits like I used to do back in the day, but I get to introduce him to all of you. Coach Lou is a true alpha, probably the godfather of alphas, because he is the one that kind of originated this. He was raised on the south side of Chicago. He played under legendary coach Barry Alvarez at Wisconsin, then launched his coaching career at his alma mater, Richards High School. From there, he climbed fast, joining Dino Babers at Eastern Illinois, then tearing it up as the OC at Bowling Green and Syracuse, where he broke multiple offensive records along the way. He made history at Kent State as the youngest head coach in FBS at the time, and then he led the Golden Flashes to a MAC title game appearance and the first ever bowl win in school history. He's coached future Super Bowl champions, helped to build the offensive identity at Colorado, and now serves as the head coach at San Diego State, developing not just athletes, but leaders and alphas on and off the field. Coach Lewis is the reason Alpha Pack exists. His impact has shaped how I lead, how I coach, and how I live. It's an absolute privilege to have Coach Lou on. Coach Lou, welcome to Leading the Pack.
Man, Dom, that was really grateful. Excited about the opportunity, man, and humbled to be here to talk to you and to your audience, man. This is exciting. I'm equally thrilled to be here and to share some time with you.
Absolutely. I do really appreciate it because I know right now, right, we're just coming out of camp season, the grind of the camps of finding new people to become alphas, right, and getting into now this little downtime for you to get with your family, the coaches to get with the family. So I really appreciate you taking the time to come meet with us. So the question I want to start with, right, the godfather of alphas. You are the one that brought the idea of an alpha to me when I was at Kent State as a GA. So I want you to talk about kind of the origins of an alpha, what it means to be the alpha, and then kind of what it means to you as a coach, husband, father.
Yeah, I mean, so this whole mantra of be the alpha was something that I developed, man, way back when I was a position coach, when I got my first job as a full-time coach with Coach Babers at Eastern Illinois. And there's a funny story wrapped around it. I was a newlywed. Me and my wife were living the good life in Charleston, Illinois. We had just gotten a puppy and wanted to raise that thing the right way. And so, we have our little fur baby. I have my crew of dudes that I need to develop. And one of the books that I was reading was talking about how, all puppies are basically descendants, origin of wolves, right? And how new pups in the litter don't know any better, but they want to lead the pack, right? And I was like, man, what a unbelievable idea that if I can instill that mindset within my guys, that they have a clear vision, a great focus, and an intentional purpose each and every single day to lead their lives, and then for us to be the leaders of, at the time, the Ohio Valley Conference there at Eastern Illinois. Like, how can I implement that into our guys? And, in true alpha way, all this was discovered, Dom, on a rainy day getting a pedicure with my wife in Charleston. There wasn't a whole lot to do then. So this be the alpha mantra, came to be while I was getting a pedicure, which was awesome. So there's, beautiful irony in that, right? But it has since evolved, right? As I've grown and as I've evolved, right? It's truly become, right, like being a complete person, right? And leading your life and what is required each and every single day to do that. So as we talk about it here out on the Mesa at San Diego State, right, when our guys here be the alpha, like they know, hey, our coaching soundbite that goes with it to help ingrain the standard, right, is that we're going to improve and compete today with a +1 mindset, right? Like just being present today, knowing what's required, having an intentional focus and purpose about improving our craft, and then competing at a high level, right? And that competition is internal. That competition is pushing our limits at San Diego State day in and day out. And if we're doing that consistently, again, and with that purpose, with that focus, and holding one another accountable to all the things that need to be done, you're going to look back after stacking all those days after day, that you're going to like where you end up. So it's kind of the history lesson of it all. And again, it's a ever evolving thing as I continue to improve and compete myself in new ways and get new perspective and have new experiences, and have had new staff members kind of be around me and implement their ideas as well, so that we can make it uniquely our own year in and year out.
Love that. That's amazing. I love the pedicure part. I mean, you're being a husband, right? Like you're being there for your wife, right?
Yeah, I mean, Charleston, Illinois was a beautiful place, man, and there was nowhere else I'd rather be at that point in time in my life as a young ball coach, as a newlywed, right? But there wasn't a whole lot going on. I mean, there was more pigs and cows in Charleston, Illinois than there were people, right? So on a rainy day when you had a little downtime and it was like, all right, what are you going to do? I mean, my wife was like, hey, let's go get pedicures. So I'm like, I've never done that, and I've never done that since. Sitting in that chair, reading that book, came up with this idea that, again, has never left, and everywhere I've gone, it's come with me and has been, at the center of the ethos of our culture that we've built everywhere that we've been.
Yeah, I guess if you ever need that new reinvent the wheel, you just have to go back and get a pedicure with your wife.
Yeah, right? Recreate the moment, right?
So awesome. How do you actually implement this alpha mentality? Because it's one thing to talk about it, it's one thing to just be able to preach it to the players, but how do you actually implement it with the staff to get buy-in there, which I know you surround yourself with a lot of former guys that you coach or close people that you're close with, so they have buy-in, but how do you implement it with the players and the staff?
Yeah, education, right? Education piece of it, explaining the why and detailing it, so that then, whether it's a staff member, it's a player, it's anyone within our organization, right? Then they have the opportunity, they have the knowledge to make the choice for themselves, right? These are things that we want it to be very clear, very transparent. So, in the same way that, for some of the athletes or coaches that are listening, or, maybe some of the people in the business world, right, where you're going to roll out a new plan, a new strategic strategy, right? It's a new installation because it's training camp and you're installing inside zone, you're installing, your 3 deep, 3 under pressure, you're installing how you're going to attack your marketing campaign for, the fourth quarter here of the fiscal year. There's going to be a strategic vision to that and an implementation to it. And so with our culture, it's no different. We're going to go from day one and talk about our non-negotiables of being truthful, of being early and having a great attitude. And we're going to go into our core beliefs of be the alpha and cover and move and blue collar nasty, right? And then within each one of those tenets, right, we dive a little bit deeper, and there's layers to it. And depending on, again, where we are and the time of the year, there's certain threads you got to pull on, right? And then the characteristic and the personality of your team, it's different each and every single year, to where some guys naturally or some girls naturally gravitate towards, some ideas some years versus others you got to spend a little bit more time, right? And so you got to be observant, and you got to have the global conversations, but the things that I learned is that you really got to lean on your staff. And I've been much more intentional about educating and teaching the staff so that then they can go and implement our vision, our culture, our standards of excellence to their people that are underneath them, right? Because as a leader, at times you stand up in front of the team and you give this great team meeting. Dom, I mean, you sat in some of them and everything. And you walk out, and you're like, heck yeah, I crushed that, right? And then 2 hours goes by and you're walking off the practice field and you ask someone hey, what was the main takeaway from the meeting? And they're like, I don't know, coach, right? Because there's so many people, right? It's so vast, but building a culture, it's individual. So you have to be intentional about the individuals, and you have to have those one-on-one touch points. And really dive into your people, right? At the end of the day, it's your people knowing and understanding what's acceptable, what's not, why it's going to benefit them, why it would harm them, and then empowering them to make the choices and, living with the results, but really repeating that process over and over and over again.
I really liked what you said about working with the staff and bringing them into it, and then also empowering them. Because as a head coach, you have over 100 players. You can't touch every single one of them. So I think that's a great point for leaders in general of how do you start building that delegation, or how do you start building that trust to allow other people to to almost empower them to do what you need it to have done or the organization needs done in order for it to be successful?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta give them trust, right? Like if you want to build trust, you have to give trust. And I think at times for hard chargers, entrepreneurs, coaches, right? You want to have your finger on everything, and you just can't. Like things won't get done as efficiently as possible and to the level that the organization, the team is capable of if you're micromanaging all of it, right? So really intentional about the people that we bring on board, making sure that they got good hearts and they have a passion of servitude for our guys, because at the end of the day, if we're not here to serve the kids, then like what are we doing, right? Without them, we don't exist, right? Without the team, I'm just a tall, bald guy with a beard that's crazy about football, right? But because I got a team to serve, right, now I get to be called coach, and that's very humbling, right? So empowering the staff by giving them ownership of it. Hey, I trust you to take this blueprint, to understand it intimately, because we're taking the time in each staff meeting to go have lunches, to go have dinners, to have one-on-one touch points with your staff as well, so that they can dive deeper into the subject matter of what you're building, what you're creating. So then again, in our world, right, when the defensive coordinator, the offensive coordinator is in front of either side of their units, special teams coordinator is in front of his units, right, like he's echoing and saying the same key phrases, right? He's building the same culture that is coming top down, and they all get to do it with their own style, right? Like I think that's so important, right? Like you don't want a bunch of robots in your organization. When we talk about culture and environment, like, hey, everyone's exactly the same. Like, man, how boring would that be if you go into Baskin Robbins and it's just vanilla, right? Like, we love Baskin Robbins because it's got 31 flavors, right? So you want your people to be themselves, but you got to give them trust and you got to let them go, right? And then as they, cultivate their garden and they take ownership of leading, again, as a leader, be observant of that, man, and then give them more and delegate so that you can go do the things that only you can do as the CEO, as the head coach. Like, but like that's one thing that I've had to learn over the years, going into year 7 as being a head coach here. Like, if I'm doing something that someone else in the organization can do, like, why am I doing it? I need to be doing the things that only the head coach can do, right? Like, that's what I'm here for. And then empower, give trust, and make sure that my people have the resources, the knowledge that they need, man, to go be successful and attack our goals.
That's awesome. I think about the time that you trusted me without, like, we obviously got to know each other a little bit more once I came on staff and everything, but the fact that you trusted me to introduce you to recruits for the first time when we had official visits, right? Yeah. You talk about having trust in someone you probably just met, like, I think it was probably like 3 weeks ago, to be the one that intros you to these people that we need on our team at the time. You talk about trust, like I think about that, and it brings me back to Kent State when you were 31 years old as the youngest head coach in FBS at the time. Just take me back to what that experience taught you about trusting, about commanding respect, and then just leading a program early in your career.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know what I didn't know, right? Like, as when I was an assistant, when I was a young assistant, like, I didn't know how to be a coordinator. And you sit in the chair and then you start coordinating, right? And then when you're a coordinator, you're always wondering, like, man, what the heck is Coach Babers doing? Like, how come I can't get him to help me finalize this game plan, right? Like, and you don't know what you don't know. And then you sit in that chair and it's like, all of a sudden, okay, as an assistant, as a coordinator, you can make all these suggestions in the world up the chain of command with no repercussions. And your idea was the best idea all the time, right? Like, dumb ball coach stuff, right? And then you sit in the head chair and you realize, okay, like, I'm not making suggestions now. Like, I'm making decisions, and these decisions are going to impact the experience that my players have and how they view their career, right? And for us, man, like, this is the last guaranteed opportunity when guys get to us that they have to play football. And for 98% of the guys playing high school football, if you're a high school coach listening to this, right? Like, there's only 2% of guys that are going to go out and play college ball, right? And so just pouring everything into that and realizing with a sense of humility, like, again, I don't know what I don't know. And these people are counting on me to have a plan and to execute a vision and to figure it out. And year after year, like, just seeking wisdom, seeking knowledge, And as the landscape changes, again, like still working to stay ahead to figure it out, right? But again, trusting your people, leaning on them, knowing that they have different strengths than you have, building out that team to within your staff, right? To, cover up your weaknesses, right? With their strengths. And then again, putting them in positions to highlight that. And I think ultimately, right, like I didn't demand respect. I just wanted to do a good job. And hopefully by doing a good job and serving the players and serving the staff, and by, living in a manner that I was asking them to live, and really kind of setting the pace with it all, like that, they did respect me, right? And that they saw the vision, and that they saw the way that we were going about it. And again, then they were able to make the choice because they felt empowered to do so and took ownership of being a part of the journey and coming along for the ride. And because of that, man, like we're able to do some special things everywhere that we've been, right? But like, you kind of said in the intro, I broke all these records, man. I didn't break a single record. The players in between the lines broke the record, right? I was just fortunate to, again, lead them. That they believed in the vision, and we had a whole heck of a lot of fun by working really hard together, and that's what made it meaningful, and that's what made it memorable.
That's awesome. I was thinking back to when, again, coming in, I'm thinking like, oh, this guy knows everything, right? He's a head coach. He's got to know everything, right? I'm a young GA that's like just still trying to figure out what's what, right? And so like it's very humbling, but it's also very cool that just because you don't know something doesn't mean that you can't go attack it. It doesn't mean that you should just not do anything, right? It's surrounding yourself with those people and making sure that you have the pack around you that's going to help you achieve the vision that you want. Now, going back to the belief part, I really like that because you were able to instill that belief by living the life that you want to live. One thing that I talk about is you can only lead people to the discipline in which you live, right? So it's the same idea. Like you must be the leader, you must be the example. How has that changed at all, or is it still the day in and day out of I have to be the example for my staff, for my players, for this athletic department?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still walking the walk, right? Like, I'm typically the one that turns the lights on here each and every single morning. It's a race between me and Coach Sobel, to who's going to get in the weight room first. And maybe it means something, maybe it doesn't. But if I'm going to ask everyone in the organization to work really, really hard and to believe in the idea that work actually works, like that is the shortcut, like discipline, consistent work over time, not being occasionally great, but consistently good. Like I think there's something to when every single person that walks in our building, right, like sees myself already in the building, already working on something, being prepared for whatever it is, right? Like, I think that matters because at the end of the day, like, whatever your team is, I happen to stand in front of 105 young men that are really, really smart, right? Like, if I preach all the things that I preach and I throw all that stuff up on a PowerPoint, but then I'm living completely opposite, they're going to be like, Coach, like, get out of here, right? Like, and the last thing any of us ever want to be as leaders is hypocrites, right? So, it's still important, right? I think if you're leading people, you cannot ever ask them to do something that you're not willing to do yourself or that you haven't already done.
That's awesome. I noticed in there we have some Lewisisms that people talk about, or I know at least with Matty J, he called them Lewisisms, so I don't know if that's an official term or trademark yet, but why, I guess, do you talk with those different sound bites? I want, like, I guess, a head coach or an entrepreneur or a CEO to be able to understand the importance of the sound bites and be able to have those things to be able to use with the people that you're leading.
Oh, well, I guess it's probably a byproduct of my background a little bit. I was a journalism major, so I think words matter. And I think repetition is the mother of all teaching. So for, again, whether it's conceptual understanding, whether it's implementation of a marketing plan, right? Like if I say, hey, just do it, like we all know what that correlates to because we've heard it 8,000 times, if not more, in our lives, right? And so if it's important to you like you got to find a way to make it uniquely yours. And so it's kind of neat. Like, again, the whole be the alpha deal. Like you can find guys, Eric Laura, Jeff Lepak, guys who were in that room 2012 to, Ronnie Moore, Roger Lewis, Garrick Dieter, Heath Jackson. We were at Bowling Green to, the boys Irv Phillips and Eric Dungy and all the guys at Cuse to the guys at Kent that shoot, KP hit me up yesterday and we're texting back and forth, like to again, like Weave and Jimmy Horn and Trav and Shador, like grateful for all these guys to believe, like they probably all have their favorites and, they all have fun with it. And at some point in time, all the guys imitate my sayings, but all right, if you can imitate me, you're listening. So something's sinking in there, right? And again, like as leaders, the things that are important to us, we want it to be important to our people. But then again, the dichotomy of that is you better figure out what's important to your people and make it important to you so that they know that there's a mutual level of care. And that's how a great relationship is, right? It's got that two-way street. So yeah, there's the sayings, there's the slogans. I don't know really how they originated or why, but they've stuck on and guys believe in them.
Yeah, I love it. My favorite one is Works. That was like the one I've clung to ever since being part of it. And I'm pretty sure we were in the indoor, and I think we were coming off of it was a spring ball practice, something like that. We didn't have like a great practice the one before, and you just kept going around Works, and then like something hit the fan as usual as a GA. So like you're like, hey, KYKB. And I was like, wait, what? You're like, keep your knees bent. And I was like, yep, okay, let's go. Yep. So those have been two that I really like, or I've used and joked around with some people here and there. So
yeah, right. Like, again, it's nothing new. You can pick up you can pick up meditations from Marcus Aurelius, right? And like in some way he's saying do work consistently and change is inevitable, right? So, hey, work works, keep your knees bent, things are going to change. Whatever solid ground you think you're standing on, stand by to get some. Like it's going to change.
Absolutely. And I guess the reason I like the works one so much was because like it's so true. Because like if you put in the work, if you consistently pound the stone, consistently go after what you want and just are being diligent about doing the work every single day, then eventually it's going to work out. I don't know when it is. Nobody knows exactly when that stone's going to crack. But if you consistently put in the work and you're focused on what you're doing with intentional focus, then you're going to get to where you want to be.
Yeah, right. I mean, it gives you a chance. And I think that's all that we ever want. I think if we're being like down to our core, whatever it is that we're striving for, whatever the goal is, whatever the outcome is, the dream, like just let me know that it's possible. And by consistently putting in good days of work over and over and over again, like that becomes the clearest path to opening that door and where you have the power to pursue whatever it is that you are chasing. You're not giving that power, that authority to anything or anyone else. It's, hey, like I have a plan, I have a vision, there's things that I believe in that we're going to get done. And yeah, I'm going to be fluid and humble enough that if the environment changes, I'm going to adapt and I'm going to overcome. But again, those adaptations and being able to persevere, again, like that's going to come with a lot of really hard work. And I'd imagine, for your audience here, just like my guys in the locker room, like they don't want these average goals. They're not chasing low-hanging fruit. Like they're high-value items that they're chasing, right? So like that's going to take extremely high-value work consistently over time, and that work like is going to filter out the real ones from the fakes.
I liked when you talked about before the non-negotiables and then doing the work to achieve the goals. Can you talk about just the understanding of standards and how they have to match what your goals are and the level of work that you're willing to put in to match what your goals are?
Yeah, so I kind of equate it and think about it almost like a GPS a little bit, right? Like, so you start with the end in mind, whatever the goal is, whatever the outcome is that you're chasing, and put that pillar in the ground, because that's not going to change, right? Like, so for us, it's building and developing great young men. It's everyone getting a degree who comes through our doors, right? Dominating our rival in the team up north, winning the Mountain West Championship, going to the college football playoff and dominating once we get there, right? So like that stake's been put in the ground. So now I can plug that in the GPS, and now the GPS is going to map out how we get there, right? And so the course, the process of achieving that we obsess about is our standards, is our non-negotiables, because that drives the way that we behave. It creates the culture that's within our building. And again, that's something that we can control, right? So when we talk about our non-negotiables, it's, hey, be truthful, right? And this is something that I stole straight from Buzz Williams, who I've had the opportunity to visit with a little bit, right? Like, hey, be truthful. Tell the truth all the time about everything. Secrets are lies. So we have relationships in our building that have bonds that are strong enough that it can withstand the truth. So we can have open and honest conversations, and we use our time in a purposeful way because we're not tiptoeing around things like, hey, this is what we're chasing. It requires the truth. We're telling the truth by wearing our colors. You've signed up for this. So don't get all in your feels. I'm respectful of your feelings, and I'm going to say it in a respectful, professional way, but I'm going to give you the truth so that we can move forward and find the solution, right? Or give you tremendous praise because you did a really good job, right? So I think that's critically important. Being early is a big deal for me. Again, like we wake up each day, right? Like there's 86,400 seconds in a day. Like, don't waste my time. I'm not going to waste your time. The things that we're doing is important. As much as work works, when the work is done, dude, like go recharge your batteries and, go what you need to do so we can attack the work the next day the right way, right? Like that's the two-way street with it all. And then, man, having a great attitude, right? Like have an attitude of gratitude. I live in America's finest city. Like it's 75 and sunny, 332 days out of the year. Like, what do I got to be upset about, right? Like, life is going to life. But again, like everyone who comes into our building, and hopefully it's this way for your listeners, and if it's not, hopefully they're, again, working on a solution so that they can be at a place where they show up with passion, they show up with energy, they show up with positivity because, man, they love to be there. I'm fortunate to be in an environment and be around people that are truly living their dreams, right? Like at some point in time, and I was sitting in school suspension on the south side of Chicago as a high school football coach running in-school suspension. Grateful to have that opportunity, but chasing a dream to become a college coach. So like whatever comes up today, it's what I signed up for. And so let's go find the solution for whatever it is that pops up, man. And again, not lose sight that I'm truly living my dream. So again, just by clearly defining all of that for our people, like they know what the consistent environment is that they're walking into. So now they can do the extremely hard work each and every single day to go achieve those dreams. And again, things are going to come up. But hey, like the outcome, the result, the end destination of that GPS, we might have to take a detour, but like where we're going ain't changing. And whatever happens along the way, like the things that we're chasing, Dom, like, man, they don't care about our feelings. So we better figure out a way to get there regardless of how we're feeling.
Absolutely. Yeah. The feelings part, again, huge. Standard over feelings, right?
Yeah.
You're non-negotiable to work over feelings, like whatever it is, your feelings are going to be up and down. So we can't rely on that. So like, let's go attack this work together, right? And again, you know what you signed up for. You're wearing the San Diego shield on it, right? You're wearing that Aztec shield. So you know what is expected of you. And so if you want to say that you want to make the college football playoff, well then here's the work that it takes to get there. And you're either in for that or you're not, because then it's not really your goal, right? Mm-hmm. So I love the idea of all that. I love the attitude part is so huge. I mean, it probably is a little bit easier to have a great attitude in San Diego than Ohio, but we're still having a great attitude over here in Ohio regardless, because it doesn't really matter. We don't let our surroundings affect us.
Hey, I've been in Syracuse, New York, where every single winter there was over 160 inches of snow. I spent 8 years of my life in Ohio. It's an amazing place, man, right? Like, but again, weather's gonna weather. Like, yeah. I mean, you ask my baby girl, like, right now, hey, it rains, man, let's put our boots on, let's go sing and dance in the rain. Like,
absolutely.
Hey, like, it's gonna snow, heck yeah. Like, let's go get our sleds and let's go sledding. Like, it is what you make of it, man. Like it truly
Absolutely.
is. And I get, hey, like everyone's in a different spot, but you can choose your attitude. I truly believe that.
Absolutely. Every day. I mean, it's all up here. The one thing that I've been really looking into or learning about too as I grow through this mental performance stuff is your mind is a tool like your body, right?
Yeah.
So whatever's going on in your mind, you can control that. And part of your mind is your attitude and the attitude you bring every single day into every single part of your day of what you're doing, right? So I love that idea of training your mind as a tool, just like you train your body. And I was wondering how you guys do that at San Diego State.
Yeah, I mean, again, like we have a whole lot of discussions about all this, right? Like I think a great way to build your mental fortitude is to do hard things together, right? And sometimes that's physical, sometimes that's, through conversation, individually. Like I love to read. I wish that was something that I picked up sooner, right? Like that's one of those things as a young man, like I was forced to read, and now I love reading, right? And again, just getting reps, writing things out. I encourage all my guys to do all of that, right? Like again, this isn't unique; it's not rocket science, but like even with all this technology, right? Like I still think there's something to paper and pen, right? Like we're gonna have our notebooks in the meeting, we're gonna write down. Like I'll intentionally tell the guys, hey, like write this down, right? And I think that helps the retention piece of it because now they have to transfer what's being said or what's on the PowerPoint, down onto their paper. And I think there's another rep of learning that occurs with that to build that mental fortitude, that mental endurance. But man, it's hard to substitute just doing hard things together to build that mental resilience, right? Like we've been very fortunate to build a relationship with the Navy SEALs out here with them training in Coronado and just being around those guys, right? Like they do the basics better than everyone else. And their basic, their basic training regimen hasn't changed in years to figure out who's capable and who's not of becoming a SEAL. It ain't real complex. It's pretty simple. It's pretty basic. But I tell you what, like that idea of doing hard stuff together, you figure out who really wants it and who doesn't and who's got the mental strength to endure when real adversity is going to come. So
Absolutely. That's awesome. Before we wrap the last question, I want to take you back to college Coach Lou. So before he was Coach Lou, he was Player Lou. Anything that you learned or that you can look back now from what you probably learned under Coach Barry Alvarez and everything that he was teaching at that time while you're on the team, things that maybe you use now or just things that you mentally are like able to use now in your life?
yeah, the thing that always stood out to me about Coach Alvarez was just how calm and in control he was. Whether he was or he wasn't, but I mean, by the time I was with him, I was very fortunate to be with him for the last 2 years of his career, man. And like you talk about the Godfather now, like Coach Alvey always had the situation under control, right? And like very, very rarely, I could think of in the 2 years that I played for him, man, there might have been maybe 3 or 4 times where like he lit us up, like he was in control and he was always confident no matter what time of the year it was. He believed in his plan, what the situation in the game was. Like there was a reassurance in the way that he carried himself and the composure that he always had, regardless of circumstance, that like, we're going to be all right. Like, we're going to get this done. Like we got coach and he's trained us the right way. And that's something I need to do a better job with. Sometimes my Irish temper gets the better of me a little bit. And I'm working on getting better at that. We're all figuring it out. But that's something that coach did a great job of. And then also, man, like his relationship with the players, like to this day, the same way that KP just hit me up and that I was going back and forth with Weave here in the past 24 hours, like coach, no matter where he's at, what he's doing, he's got time for one of his guys, and I was a non-playing nobody, right? Like those who can't play get into coaching. That's why I'm coaching. That's why we're talking. But coach doesn't have to make the time for me, but coach will pick up my call. And again, that's something where we just try to be here for our guys, and not try, but be here, whether it's any time of year, near or far, like whether that's my guys being my players, former GAs, former staff members, right? Like, you're going to be here. Like, if you've ran with me, if you've done work with me, and you've done it at a high level, man, like, you're my guy, right, wrong, or indifferent, and I'm here for you. And as long as the good Lord keeps me upright, you can call me, and we're going to make some good things happen.
I appreciate that. Well, we're going to wrap with the question that we always ask of what's one piece of advice that you'd give your younger self or just anyone that's listening about mindset, leadership, overcoming adversity, anything along those lines?
Just kind of general, I guess, like for younger people that are listening to this, like have something to write with and write on. Again, that's a Buzz Williams deal that I think just always having something to write with and to write on. Like you never know when an idea is going to hit you, when you're going to get a nugget of wisdom that with all the stuff that we all got going on in our brain and how many distractions there are in the world, like make a note. And I don't know, maybe that's just the way my brain works right now, especially with all that I got going on. Like if I don't write it down, good luck. And then, I'm going to be upset that I forgot that idea. Do a good job following up with new people that you meet. Just generally speaking, again, for younger people, right? Like I feel everything has become so easy to text or to shoot a DM. Like get a number, make a follow-up call, and really build a relationship, right? Like you never know how someone that you interact with, you can help them, or maybe they're going to be able to help you downrange. And then I wish I would have learned this sooner, but like whatever adversity you face, like truly that obstacle is going to become the way. Like working through it, becoming stronger, having that whatever it is, right? Like an injury where a body part breaks down, like, okay, well, that gives me an opportunity to strengthen it, right? Or, man, like one of the most telling points in my career was, a terrible loss during the COVID year out at Buffalo, right? Like where we got blasted. And it was like, okay, like, even though things are trending and going the right way, like we got to, again, level set and learn from this, right? So you're constantly winning and building confidence from those wins, or you're learning from the shortcomings, and don't run from that, right? And take ownership of it so that you can be better because of it. So hopefully that helps a little bit.
Yeah, appreciate it. This has been awesome. Like I said, truly a privilege, and I really appreciate you coming on to talk with everybody, and hopefully people listened and they were able to gather some stuff from it. I'm sure they did. I know I even got some more, even though I was around you for a whole year and year plus. So I really appreciate you taking the time.
Well, honor's all mine. Tom, really appreciate it and excited about you building this thing out, man, and where you're going. Like, sky's the limit. It's really, really cool to see.
I appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in to Leading the Pack. I hope you learned from Coach Lou, the godfather of alphas, that it's just all about that constant improvement, showing up daily, doing the work, and then just bringing that alpha mentality one day at a time each day. Coach Lou and the San Diego State University Aztecs will open up their season August 28th against Stony Brook. So I'll have their schedule down in the description below so you can track them, become Aztec fans wherever you guys are so we can build the Aztec Nation. And then don't forget to leave a review, or subscribe so you don't miss out on a single episode, and just keep leveling up to lead your pack. Again, so blessed to have people like Coach Lou. So we're going to keep bringing on more high performers, people with great mindsets that can help you and help you become the alpha of your life. Until next time, stay hungry, keep leading the pack. Now go attack the work.